Hey guys, welcome back. So another weekend here trying to get some stuff done, but thought we'd open up the basement and get that all aired out and ready to go, make sure we didn't have any moisture problems. But of course nothing could be dry, you know. So you'll see here this wonderful waterfall. Unfortunately, you know, because we had all that moisture in the addition, ended up in the basement. So got a sump pump going, drying and getting all the water, as much water we can out of that. And I think things are drying out pretty good though otherwise. You know, it is what it is, and we just keep plugging away at stuff, so I'm not gonna let it change at this point since we have such beautiful weather. You know, we got such a mess to clean up from the winter. But you know, as some may recall, we took on the existing house, we took 2x4s and put 1.5 inches of foam on the walls, and this is the only wall we have left to do. So I think that might be my project today, since it's nice out, is to get that out. That used to be where that plywood is, used to be a door that we covered over because that's where our bedroom is. But you can kind of see out here, you know, this whole area here, with the exception of where the entry door is, because that's going to be a bump out later, we're going to add on and have a little kind of a, I think we figured an 8x8 roughly add on. I got a piece of plywood I have to add down there in the corner that I didn't get done last fall, and didn't get the house wrap on, so I might work on doing that just to protect the plywood for now. But I think that's going to be my project, is to work on that, get that sealed up, and we'll kind of go from there. Got the pump done, got everything that it can get sucked up with that. You know, there's maybe a 1/4 inch of water yet, and then the rest should evaporate. I got as much out as the sump pump would allow, but we did do a little bit something for Jody's Mother's Day, early Mother's Day gift. We've been talking about planting fruit trees for a while, so for her Mother's Day, she got a Honeycrisp apple tree planted. We're supposed to do pretty good up here, so we will see. I'll take you around here in a second and show you kind of where things are at, but I thought, you know, we've been wanting a tree. This is the first tree that we've planted that's actually ours. It didn't come with the property, and we're going to do a bunch more. You know, our hope is to plant, you know, at least a couple different varieties of apples. We want to do some pears. We want to get some plums going again. We had plums at our old house, and they were fabulous. So we're hoping to try to do some more fruit and kind of grow our own stuff, that whatever we can grow here, we're going to try to grow, but bring it around to this side of the mess. Been working on this a little bit as I'm running out of 2x4, so I'm only going to get a little bit done. So kind of scavenging 2x4, so they don't look the greenest, but here, I'll switch the camera. So basically 2 foot on center that will go across this whole side and get that done, so that I can, when I'm ready to hang, I'll do that center section. But I'm gonna have to I only got 2 more boards that I scavenged, so I don't have enough. I need 8 total to get everything done, so I need another 6 that I couldn't find. So, but we'll get that done, and it's kind of where things are at. I haven't been filming it just because we've been doing other things, and at the same time it's kind of been just piecemeal and stuff, doing a little bit here for a few minutes, a little bit here, so keep it going. But it is beautiful enough. We got windows open, getting some fresh air in here in the house. So move the dump truck down below, that needs some work, but it just gonna matter every time. Just plug away now. That's really what we're going to be doing now for the next couple videos, is just plugging away on small projects and getting partially done. And I don't know if we'll have any big projects scheduled for a while, so, but enjoy them today. This is no longer on the road. We had an all hands on deck, so I wasn't able to film, and I didn't have a tripod with. We went down just to try to see if it would move at all, and we were able to get the tracks to move, so we knew it wasn't froze, and we figured we'd just hook up to the truck, give her a pull, and she walked right out of the ditch. So it is home. Got some cleanup to do, and check all the fluids, grease everything, get everything good, and then fuel her up, and she'll be good to put to work. But this is a huge successful day. You know, we got our apple tree, which was great. Carry on some traditions that my dad started, having apples. And then got this thing home and didn't have to work too hard to get it out. So it just has been a good day today. Now we got settled in after the loader. Got that all put away. Got some of this done. I did actually manage to find some more 2x4s, but I ran out of screws. But that's kind of what it looks like before we put the foam in. I got to put a couple tie-ins up there in top and bottom to close in the foam, mainly to keep the mice and bugs and stuff out. So I got that corner left to do, and then I can start fitting the foam. I put plywood back up over that old doorway just because there is no plywood there. It's furred out for plywood, but being the foam's going to cover it, we didn't need to put plywood back in there. So that's kind of where it's at for the day. This is the end of the day, Saturday. We'll kind of see where tomorrow brings. I think this will, unless I can find some more screws, this will be done until my order of screws comes in. But we might end up looking at getting the loader out, and maybe if we got fuel, put some more house wrap up, get that buttoned up a little tighter, and just kind of plug away at stuff. And I think we got some indoor projects too, but kind of running out of material, so we're just going to kind of keep plugging away on that. You know, as we get materials. Ooh, yeah, and I got a little sun today. As we get more materials and as our budget allows, we're going to just keep plugging away on stuff. I'd like to get this end wall done that I was showing you, so that's buttoned up and house wrapped. That's good to go. And then get the house wrap around the rest of the addition, get that finished up, and then we'll transition back into doing some grading work and some work inside, depending on weather. We're kind of going to hold off on some of the indoor stuff until we get, for bad weather stuff, so that we can kind of keep plugging away. But that's where we're at for today. I will get another video tomorrow, and we'll see what we get done tomorrow. Okay, guys, I had a couple conversations with some people that were just asking a little bit about, how we're set up here and that. And as those have been watching from the beginning, you'll kind of know we bought this place back in December of 2020. And took the existing house and made it into a house, and then added on to it. An existing structure, I should say. It really wasn't a house. But we are 100% off grid. The closest electrical to us for service is 2.2 miles away. So we had asked the local power company what it would cost, just out of curiosity, to get electric in there. We still plan on doing solar. That was our main primary goal. But we thought, well, let's just see what electric is. If it's not too much, maybe we'll run it and just run our solar and have electric as a backup. We wouldn't have needed to invest as much into batteries as we did. But when we came back and had a price tag of over $50,000 to bring electric in, it just wasn't worth it. So, not when our solar system is fully installed, everything that we want to do, we're looking at, roughly half of that. We haven't spent that much yet. Because we're only about not quite halfway with our solar system size, as far as the size of it goes. So we're going to continue to work on that, get that over time, add panels. Our next step is to add 3 more panels to to get more of a southerly or westerly facing, so we get more of the late afternoon, evening sun. Right now we get more morning sun and afternoon, and then we lose it, around dinner time. We lose the evening sun, so we don't charge anymore at that point. So if we got some that we can get 3 panels, it'll point to the west more. We'll get that evening sun and kind of keep our batteries topped off throughout the evening, so that we're only losing power overnight. That'll help immensely as going into the next winter as well. So eventually we have 9 panels now. We'll have 18 to 24. We originally planned 18, but I think we're going to bump it up to 24, just to have that extra capacity that we can run all the stuff that we want during the day, especially if we're going to be looking at having, additional feature sets of, running electric out to where, friends and family want to come camping. We can basically have electric that they can plug into with their camper, and, we don't have to run as much worry as much as night. If we're getting more of that evening sun, then that'll help immensely. So let's see what else. Yeah, so with that electric, or with our electric, we are running 120 volts throughout the house, just like a normal house service. So our power comes in and goes into a 48 volt battery system, and that is then inverted into 120 volts AC. And that's so our house runs like your traditional home would be, that be on the grid. We're just 100% off grid. So that kind of helps with that. And we can continue to use the appliances we used prior. So, everybody kind of say, well, you're off grid, you really must be roughing it. And not really. When we came here we knew we were going to be really running it tough. Like the first winter we're up here, from December until spring, till it started thawing out, getting above freezing, we didn't have any electricity. We ran solar powered batteries during the day, sat and charged. And then in the evening, we would charge our cell phones up from those batteries and work those batteries. And then we ran the generator basically from dusk until the time we went to bed, and charged everything else back up. And that was how we ran that first 4 or 5 months, until we got our first solar panels and our inverter system installed. So we didn't have any electricity that first winter, and which was kind of really rough in it. But that's how quite a few people do. They don't have electricity. They use coolers. The wintertime, your outdoor is a freezer. You got a freezer box that you basically, you put it outside, it's froze, you're good. And that's really what we did. We ran all our freezer stuff in coolers. We had one cooler that was designated as our refrigerator, and with that, we would put it out during the day because the temps are usually warmer during the day, and then we bring it in the evening to keep it from freezing. If we left it out overnight, everything would freeze, but if we brought it in at night, at least it would keep it to the temperatures. And we were keeping everything at 45 degrees or cooler, doing it that way. It might warm up to 45 at when we bring it in by the morning, it's 45. You put it outside, it get down to 40. I think that actually the warmest I think it ever got was in the spring. We started getting close to 50 in our temps in that refrigerator cooler. And so we just didn't need it, but we wanted to have that convenience of like we did at our own house. So we're kind of that more, I'd say more of a modern off-grid where we have all the amenities. Our kitchen has a dishwasher. We have a full-size refrigerator, freezer. We got a evaporative washing machine, so it does all the washing and drying in one machine. And it's a small unit, and so we don't wash a lot of clothes. I mean, it's, it takes, if we wash maybe a load a week, and that's really it. I mean, it's just the clothes that we wear every day, and then the occasional, bedding and stuff that we wash. The only downside to it is it's a little bit small. If we were to do it again, we'd buy something a little bit bigger because our comforters don't fit quite in it. Or about half of our comforters are just too big. So we end up having to go to the laundromat to wash that and get those cleaned when we need to do it. So there's some things there that will change in the future. Our water heater is a 40-gallon tank propane heater. And eventually, once we expand our solar panels and get that expansion all done, we'll look at when it's time to replace that water heater, we'll go to an electric on-demand system for the whole house. So that'll free up floor space in our mechanical room, and then we're not wasting any money on fuel. And so the only other thing right now that runs off of propane is our stove. Our stovetop and oven are propane driven. We have an electric over-the-range microwave. And eventually, for fuel usage, the only other thing we talked about adding in is we're gonna put a gas fireplace as a backup heat source, because we don't have any. Our only source of heat in the wintertime right now is electric. So that's what we're gonna keep on doing. But we want the ability to be gone, 10 hours if we have to, and not worry about the house getting real cold. So the house could, so that gas fireplace would kick in when the house gets down, 60, 65. To kick in and supplement the wood stove, so that in the event that say we have to go run a bunch of errands, and the dogs are all taken care of and the animals are all taken care of, that we can leave and not worry about, we got to be back in 7-8 hours to restock the wood stove. On an average winter day, you know, we get 8 to 10 hours of heating off of the wood stove. But when it gets down in the sub-zero temps, it doesn't last that long. I mean, we maybe get 7 to 8 hours before the house starts cooling off, because we got the wood stove turned up a lot more, so we're burning through the wood quicker. And now that our addition's on, we're going to be using more wood, so that's where next winter it'll be important that we have that gas fireplace as a backup to just kind of offset those cooler temps, so we don't come home to a 60-degree house. You know, we can keep it in that 65 plus range and not have to fight so hard to get it warm back up. You know, with the wood stove, you let it down at 60, 65, it takes a few hours to get the house temp back up, and you know, you're basically running it full wide open until we go to bed in the cold winter nights. So let's see, what else can I share about how we're set up. We do have an indoor bathroom. We are finishing our septic system this year, and that'll be capable of, you know, we basically built it for a 3 to 4 bedroom house with size capacity, so that we do have the ability to have more capacity to it in case we want to add, you know, another little outbuild, you know, I don't know if I want to call it a mother-in-law's house. We wanted to build a small little cabin, you know, living area that, you know, friends and family, when they want to come up and visit, they could have their own space. You know, we have the loft for now, and we'll have basically two bedrooms. We have our main master bedroom, and then we have a spare bedroom that we're building in the addition. And then we have the whole loft. If we want to, we can build bedrooms or bunk areas up there for additional sleeping for when people come and visit. You know, I think, you know, but we do want to have that ability to, you know, say, you know, family wants to come up and spend a week and they don't want to intrude, then they can, you know, spend that time in that cabin or little, you know, mini house, and have their own space, their own electric, their own water and sewer hookup, so that they can have the amenities that they're used to without, and not really be roughing it. You know, if people want to camp, we're gonna eventually have camping sites cut out into one of our roads that we're building, so that we'd like to get that built with electric, so that, you know, those that come and want to use a camper, they can actually plug in and have electric that way off of our solar system. But that'll be, you know, quite a few years down the road. So I think that kind of goes over what our power, you know, usage is, how we're set up for our electric. But any questions, feel free to ask. We'll be happy to answer them either in the comments section of the videos, or we'll actually do like I'm doing today and add, you know, kind of just do a quick video to answer some of those questions. So feel free to ask if you got any questions. We're happy to answer them. You know, we're not experts by any means. We're figuring this out as we go, but we love it, and we're happy to share, to kind of give people, you know, a leg up on, they don't have to reinvent the wheel per se if they're interested in this kind of lifestyle. And there's many others out there that are even more, if you want that really rustic. There's a few people. There's a couple here in Minnesota that live that way. They don't have electricity. They have a solar that runs the batteries for their lights. They're running propane refrigerator, freezer, propane stoves. You know, they don't have running water, so they're melting snow in the wintertime. And in the summertime, they're either going to a creek or they're going somewhere into town. They go back into town and fill up a 7-gallon jug or a 5-gallon jug of water. And then that's what their drinking and cooking water is. And then, you know, they get other water from streams and stuff for, you know, rinsing and things like that you don't care about. You know, is there bacteria or anything like that in there? I mean, there's filtration systems you can get to filter out pond water or stream water, but it is an increased risk that you kind of don't want to do that unless you have to. But I think that pretty much covers everything I was hoping to cover in this part of this video. But I'm gonna pretty much call it a day today, Saturday, and we're gonna give you an update tomorrow depending on what we have. We're gonna do an inventory of what we have for supplies and see what we can plug away at tomorrow. So keep smiling, guys, and we'll be back tomorrow. Hey guys, just thought I'd give one more update for this video. We didn't get a lot done. Oh, let me pan around here real quick. But as you can see, I ran out of screws, so I got more on order. So that'll be here later this week. But we didn't do much yesterday. Yesterday, being Sunday, Mother's Day, we just kind of focused on spending the day together. Jody, I said, "What do you want to do today?" And she's like, let's just take the day off and let's go for a walk and just go do some agate hunting. So that's kind of what we did. Didn't get a ton of agates, but we found quite a good handful and made it worthwhile and just kind of walked around. But we did start something here. So these stakes here are kind of the outline of where our future woodshed's going to be. We have all these logs here that need to be cut up, and some of them are big enough to go to the sawmill, some of them aren't, but we're going to basically, if they're big enough to go to the sawmill, we'll get them cut to length and bring down there. If they're not, then we'll get them cut up and stacked with firewood. So being that we got to clean all this out for our driveway to go around, see, excuse the strap mess, I got to pick all that up yet, but so our driveway comes up here, and it's going to basically come along the rock wall, and then this pile of rocks here is right smack in the middle of it. So you got to get all that cleaned out, plus this whole pile of rocks needs to be cleaned out. That birch right there is dying. It's all rotted in the middle, so that has to come out. And then the birch in the background, kind of center image there, the road will go down to the shed, and it'll come on this side of that far tree. Those twin birch there, it'll go on the outside, and the birch to the left of that, we don't know if that's going to stay or no, it's got some damage to it. So we're thinking that's going to come down and the road will go through there, and that'll wrap around to the shed. So right now, to get down to our shed, where the truck is parked here, we go down towards the dump truck, and that hill is it's really narrow, and on that end of the house down there, in the far end, we're going to have a deck, and that deck will basically go out into that roadway quite a bit that it's going to be near impossible to plow, and it's just so narrow, especially this winter we found out. I mean, it's barely wide enough for the dump truck as it is, and then you start piling snow on it, it just doesn't get clean, so, and if you look to the left of the dump truck down there, there's a patch of white. That's a pile, what's left of a pile of snow. That's where our wood pile was last winter. The previous winter, it was pretty much right here where the loader was, and it was a pain because we couldn't park the dump truck very well, and we buried half of it with snow, trying to keep snow off the driveway to keep things opened up. So then this winter, we had it here, and actually I take that back. It was right here, and those are the pallets that are stacked up there, and then we ended up moving, as we worked through, we moved it over here, and as you can see, that we don't have much left. That's it. There's some in the house. We got a full supply in the house, and then there's about an equivalent of that here in a pile under this canvas, this old military canvas. So that'll be get moved into here, but we wanted to build this shed so that, like I said, as we clear this brush and trees, we got a place to put the firewood right off the bat, so we're not piling it up and then removing it and moving it. We could just take care of it all at once. So we'll probably be working on this here now as we got good weather, and when the weather is not cooperating for outdoor work, we'll kind of shift gears and go back inside and kind of get that done. We want to get the next couple months, we want to try to get the bedroom done and the pantry finished up and painted, get the trim all done in there so that we can actually start outfitting that. And then we're going to decide if we're going to work on our kitchen next and get the kitchen finished, or if we're going to go into the bathroom and get that finished up. So it just kind of depends on where things are at. Some things we can do depending on budget, we can do sooner. So that's kind of what we're going to be thinking about. But for now, that's going to be it for this week. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll keep you posted. And till then, thank you guys. And if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe and like. Have a good one.